Hello and welcome to part 4 of Who's in Charge. Today we are going to be talking about prayer, and we are going to answer the question, why do we need to pray if the will of God is going to happen anyway? So let's look at Elijah in 1 Kings 18:1. It says, "And it came to pass after many days that the word of the Lord came to Elijah in the 3rd year, saying, Go present yourself to Ahab, and I will send rain on the earth." We see that God spoke to Elijah and told him that he wanted it to rain. So we see God's will was for it to rain. But as the chapter continues and several other events had occurred, we see that Elijah had to pray 7 times for it to finally rain. In 1 Kings 18:41 through 44, it says, "Then Elijah said to Ahab, Go up, eat and drink, for there is the sound of abundance rain," even though there wasn't in the natural. Verse 42, "And Elijah went up to the top of Carmel. Then he bowed down on the ground and put his face between his knees." So this was actually a very specific type of praying that Elijah did. Verse 43, "And said to his servant, Go up now, look towards the sea. So he went up and looked and said, There is nothing. And 7 times he said, Go again." In verse 44, "Then it came to pass the 7th time," so there it was 7 times, "that he said, There is a cloud as small as a man's hand rising out of the sea." So we see here in verse 42 that Elijah had to pray and keep praying as he sent his servant 7 times to check for clouds. The New Testament reiterates this in James 5:17 through 18. It says, "Elijah was a man with a nature like ours, and he prayed earnestly that it would not rain. And it did not rain on the land for 3 years and 6 months. And he prayed again, and the heavens gave rain." Wow. So even though God wanted it to rain, that wasn't going to happen unless he could find someone here on earth to partner with him in prayer to bring that rain. So if you think about this, this is absolutely crazy. God will not or cannot do anything without us on this earth praying. And the more we pray for his will to be done, the more of God's power comes in until enough of his power has been released to accomplish his will. Hence we see Elijah praying 7 times. So I'm going to end this part with a quote from Andrew Murray's book, The Ministry of Intercession. He says, "God's giving is inseparably connected with our asking. Only by intercession, which is prayer, can that power," meaning God's power, "be brought down from heaven. Only by prayer can God's power be poured out onto this earth." So our prayers are very powerful, and we need to pray to bring the kingdom of heaven into our situations. So thank you for joining me on part 4 of Who's in Charge. We'll see you next time.